Good afternoon. A little daunting following the First Lady and Jill Biden, but we're going to give it a shot. Thank you for all still being here with us. We're very excited to continue with today's program and honor veterans and their families. Thank you, Sway, and it's been great to have you here. It's been a privilege to be here with the First Lady, Dr. Biden, Alma Powell, the Service Nation Coalition, and most importantly, representatives of the military and their families. Whatever badge of honor or courage you wear, we are all connected by service. Service to our neighbors, service to our communities, and service to our country. It's ingrained in the very best of the American spirit and part of the legacy at Target as well. Good afternoon. I'm Laisha Ward, President of Community Relations for Target and the Target Foundation. Since 1946, Target has given 5% of our income and millions of volunteer hours to the communities we serve. Today, that equals over $3 million every week. Thank you. We have a strong tradition of supporting veterans and the military through organizations like Operation Gratitude, the VFW, Our Military Kids, the American Legion, and United Through Reading. We're a great organization. We're also proud to have more than 1,000 members currently deployed on military duty, as well as many veterans and military reservists among our more than 350,000 team members nationwide. Target is honored to provide substantial benefits for our activated reservists, including a pay differential that surpasses the benefit required by law. To further support our military team members and their families, we created the Military Service Network, which offers support groups, service opportunities, and educational resources. Today, I'm deeply honored to have Bill Leader here as part of the Target Military Service Network and an active member of the U.S. Army National Guard. Bill has been with Target for 13 years and in the military for 24 years. He served in Bosnia and most recently in Iraq. He also serves in his community back in Minnesota, volunteering to help military families, the American Legion, and the homeless. We are proud of Bill and our military team members and veterans all across America. They're incredibly generous with their time, as are their families. We honor him today, but we also honor the other Target veterans here today as well. And they include Carl Campbell, Bill Dawson, Dwayne Iverson, Sean Donnelly, Sean Rourke, and Craig Dickover. Thank you very much for your service. I bet you didn't know some of those folks helping you in your local Target store were also veterans, but they are. Earlier today, many of you participated in a service project sponsored by Service Nation, Blue Star Families, PBS, and Target. It was a way of saying thank you. Thank you to the military families and a way to show them that America cares. To continue this connection, Target and Volunteer Match are partnering to link military veterans, active service members, and their families with volunteer opportunities all across the country. This partnership is a direct response to a new study conducted by John Bridgeland and his incredible team at Civic Enterprises. The study examines the realities that face veterans every day when returning from Afghanistan and Iraq. It shows how we, as a compassionate nation, can leverage the skills, strengths, and time of our veterans, involve them in improving our neighborhoods and communities, and show them that America is grateful for their service, both abroad and at home. Here to tell us more is Mary McNaught Yonkman, Chief of Staff for Civic Enterprises and a newly minted Navy wife as of last Saturday. Yeah. This is Mary's idea of a honeymoon, I think. But at any rate, I'm pleased to welcome and quite frankly congratulate Mary, and she's here to share more about this study.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Laisha, for those truly kind words. It's an honor to be with distinguished veterans, military families, and guests here today. I'm here today as we release All Volunteer Force from military to civilian service, the first ever nationally representative survey and report on the civic lives of veterans returning from Iraq and Afghanistan. As we welcome home our newest generation of veterans, we rightfully focus on their rocky transitions. We know they face very real issues: unemployment, post-traumatic stress disorder, homelessness, and family instability. Our survey shows that only 13% of these veterans strongly agree that their transitions are going well, and just 9% strongly believe the needs of their families are being met. War is a traumatic experience, and many of these men and women have served multiple deployments over the past 8 years. The challenges they face are complex, and they deserve our nation's attention. What these veterans told us in very clear terms is that in rightfully focusing on the transition home, what we all too often neglect to highlight is that service remains in the DNA of our veterans. The training our military gives them and their responsibilities abroad mean they bring real skills back home. Almost 90% of veterans believe that Americans can learn something from their example of service, yet only half consider themselves leaders in their communities. This means that veterans are aware of the skills they have and the ethic of service that sets them apart, but when they take their daughter to school, they walk into City Hall, or they go to their place of worship, they are half as likely to think their fellow Americans understand the value of their service. Most veterans have never been contacted by a community institution, local nonprofit, or place of worship when they return home. Yet 9 in 10 agree that serving their community is important to them, and equally believe that service is a basic responsibility of every American. These returning veterans want to serve again. They want to be on the front lines of the efforts their communities are making to intervene in the lives of at-risk youth, to respond to natural disasters, to ensure our public lands are preserved, and to help those in need find their next meal. We know from the latest neuroscience that compassion, charity, and service literally make people healthier and happier. Our survey found that veterans who volunteer in communities have better transitions home, as do their families. So, by doing a better job engaging them in service at home, we will be giving them a new mission, a sense of purpose that will strengthen this generation of veterans and our nation. So on this Veterans Day, let's give a gift of gratitude to our nation's veterans. Yes, we must continue to greet them at airports and tie yellow ribbons in their honor. But as one veteran told us, recognize our usefulness. We are not charity cases, we are an American asset. Today, the partnerships announced are responding to a clear call from our newest generation of veterans. As is exhibited here today, community serving and faith-based institutions can tap the skills of veterans for volunteer service. College campuses like GW can help educate them on how to take full advantage of the GI Bill and deploy them into high-need communities through federal work-study. States can follow the inspiring examples of Minnesota and Washington as these veterans move from warriors to citizens. Mayors can incorporate veterans into their cities of service initiatives across the country. Our nation can marry the positions created in the Serve America Act's Veteran Service Corps, signed into law by President Obama, with the specific interests of returning veterans. More can be done to engage wounded warriors in service and enlist all veterans in solving our toughest challenges in socially innovative ways. But most importantly, we recommend a change in the culture of how our veterans are viewed. The public often believes that the veteran has given enough or is somehow damaged and should be left alone. But these extraordinary men and women who embody service to country need outlets on the home front and will inspire our next generation of leaders. We encourage congressional hearings, national and state summits, and public visibility of all kinds to educate millions of Americans on how they can help ensure our veterans feel connected to community and are recognized for the civic assets that they truly are. This report would not have been possible without some very special people and institutions. First, our thanks to the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff for writing our forward and to his able staff, to the White House, especially Dr. Biden and Mrs. Obama for its extraordinary leadership on these issues, to leaders in the Congress who continue to make this issue a priority, to Laisha Ward and her incredible team at Target, and Jean Case and her team at the Case Foundation for their support of this project and all they do for our nation's veterans. And to the Service Nation Coalition and Mission Serve for this extraordinary event and for continually raising the dialogue around service in America. Finally, we dedicate this report to our nation's veterans, many of whom are here today, in uniform and out, who give so much to our country. On this Veterans Day, let's share our gratitude by tapping their talents to serve their country once again. Thank you.
Wow, no pressure, right? Well, listen, good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I'd just like to thank you guys for this opportunity. I understand that they already left, but to Miss Obama, to Dr. Biden, Miss Powell, and Big Brothers Big Sisters of America, President Karen Mathis, and all who are here today, I'm honored and I'm grateful. About 7 years ago, when I signed up for Big Brothers Big Sisters, I expected the unexpected, but never this. About my son, Michael, now 13, was in first grade. During the time I've been Raul's big brother, my wife Candace and I have had a second son, Matthew, now age 6. I did this because Dyess Air Force Base encourages military personnel to serve the Abilene community, which is like many small rural farming areas. While there is some wealth, there's a lot of poverty and a lot of time for kids to get in trouble. In fact, the day I met Raul, he was in a little bit of trouble himself. He was in the second grade then, and he was sitting in lunch detention, so for acting up in class. Raul's had a lot of ups and downs. He's seen friends go in and out of juvenile detention. His dad's been in and out of work. I've been deployed everywhere around the world, from Kuwait to Djibouti, Africa, Diego Garcia to Qatar. Each time I stayed in touch with Raul through email and technology, I wanted him to know that our friendship would be one of the consistent things in his life. Why do I do it? I took Raul fishing for the first time. For this trip to Washington, D.C., it was his first plane ride. He actually shaved for the first time, and I was a part of that. The absence of the chin hair, that was me. Well, I grew up without my dad in the home. If I'd had a big brother, he could have taught me those things. My dad left when I was just 8 years old. Serving the United States Air Force is the ultimate opportunity to give my country what it's given to me and to all of us: freedom beyond measure. Being Raul's big brother shows me that I can make a difference for my country as well as for my community. Thank you.
I remember that fishing trip. What Cisco didn't tell you is that I'm the one who caught the big one. Well, it was just a bluegill, but Cisco was still a little jealous. But seriously, Cisco has taught me a lot. When I first met him, I was embarrassed that I was in detention. He was in uniform, just like he is today. All my friends thought he was cool. So did I. I wanted him to see me at my best. I wanted to be just like Cisco. Being at my best is not always easy. Cisco mentioned that some of my friends have been in and out of juvenile detention. What he didn't tell you is that my older brother has been in and out of jail. In fact, today I realized that's why my mom signed me up to have a big brother. I'm not perfect, but every day I try. When I talk to Cisco or see him, I want to give him a good report. The good news is I'm a better student. I don't get in trouble as much as I used to. I make better decisions. I'm starting to see that I'm a good at a lot of things, like World War II, history, and woodshop. You should see the birdhouse I made. It's really cool. In 2 years, I'll be a high school graduate. I know Cisco will be at my graduation, and so will Suzanne, our match support specialist at Big Brothers Big Sisters of North Texas. I'm doing everything I can to make sure I have a lot of opportunities, like the Air Force, college, Big Brothers and Big Sisters. I know how important service is. There are a lot of kids out there who need someone to look up to. Thank you.
Afternoon, I'm Jeff Cathy, Bank of America Military Affairs, Navy veteran, and what a distinct honor and pleasure it is to be out here today in celebration of our military men and women. It's extraordinarily heartwarming to see the First Lady and Dr. Biden and Mrs. Powell and members of Congress and Sergeant Mahoney and all the veterans out here with us today. In recognition of their sacrifice and dedication of all the military professionals and their extraordinary families, Bank of America is expanding its partnership with Service Nation and helping to launch the Civilian Military Initiative to help this nation and its veterans. One of the guiding tenets of my life and naval aviation career is found in Teddy Roosevelt's words: far and away the greatest prize that life has to offer is a chance to work hard at work worth doing. And at the Bank of America, I'm very proud, very fortunate to continue with meaningful work in serving military members worldwide. The bank has an outstanding relationship with military veterans and their families, and it works nicely with our commitment to service and volunteerism, and we enjoy and look forward to this collaboration with Mission Serve. This is not something new for us, but really an affirmation of our core beliefs in leadership and service. We know it's the right thing to do, and the success that we enjoy is directly linked to the success and the health of the communities that we serve. By investing in programs such as affordable housing, medical care, and creating pathways to financial independence, we serve those who serve and let them focus on their difficult missions. We work hard at helping the military veteran. We bank all military members of all services, and we are proud employers of that special segment in society. And today, in this country with the challenges ahead that are deep and wide, we see this opportunity as a chance to reinvigorate this remarkable country in selfless service in its many forms. The leaders that are here behind us in this audience and across these great United States command our respect. They embody our ideals, and they illuminate our path forward into service and civic engagement. Today and henceforth, we honor their dedication, and we look forward to expanding our relationship, our partnership, as we embark on Mission Serve. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Nikki Gorin, and I have the privilege of serving as the acting CEO of the Corporation for National and Community Service. We are a federal agency, and we engage more than 4 million Americans in service each year through Senior Corps, AmeriCorps, and Learn and Serve America, and are leading the charge on the President's United We Serve initiative. It's truly my honor to be here today. I'd like to start by commending and congratulating Service Nation and Civic Enterprises for hosting this event and for preparing this report, which will be critical as we continue our work together to support our nation's veterans through service. For many years, the Corporation for National and Community Service has made it a priority to both meet the needs of veterans and their families, as well as engage veterans in service to others. To date, nearly 13,000 veterans have served in AmeriCorps. Right now, currently, we have 8,000 Senior Corps members serving in VA hospitals. We've launched a partnership with the American Legion Auxiliary to put vistas in local chapters to recruit volunteers with a focus on alleviating poverty among veterans and their families. We've partnered with the Department of Veterans Affairs Vocational Rehabilitation and Employment Program to educate military service veterans about civilian service career opportunities. And most recently, with our support, the Washington State Commission for National and Community Service launched 2 pilot projects: the Veterans Corps and Veterans Navigation. The first is a 1-year pilot program to meet the needs of military families and support victims of traumatic brain injury system and take full advantage of the benefits they are entitled to under the GI Bill. And through President Obama's United We Serve initiative, we have partnered with 47 groups to help promote volunteer opportunities with veterans, for veterans, and by veterans, including the American Legion, the Veterans of Foreign Wars, Disabled American Veterans, and others. And service opportunities for and in support of veterans are a key priority of the historic Edward M. Kennedy Serve America Act, which you've heard discussed earlier today. And we are now busy building bridges to veteran service organizations across the country to fulfill the vision of that new law. In fact, next week we're hosting a conference call which will be led by Senator Warner from Virginia for organizations to learn about the funding opportunities in AmeriCorps to support and engage veterans and their families. We all know that connecting veterans with service opportunities is a classic win-win. Research has found that volunteering helps veterans transition back to civilian life, and of course we know that the veterans coming back have so much to offer our country in terms of skills, experience, and enthusiasm. We have many, many examples. One 33-year-old Special Forces veteran who now serves in Senior Corps told us that delivering meals to the homebound has provided him with the opportunity to serve his country longer. We believe it's our solemn duty to do everything we can to support veterans like him, those who have worn our country's uniform and sacrificed for our freedom and come home with a desire to continue serving. This report that's being released will go a long way towards helping us to do so. So again, I want to thank Service Nation and Civic Enterprises and Civic Ventures, and thank you all for having me here today.
As a veteran, I cannot tell you how moving it is to be a part of a Veterans Day celebration that is not just about the past, but about the future. My name is Ken Harbaugh. I am a former Navy pilot and Executive Director of the Mission Continues. At the Mission Continues, we challenge our returning wounded to continue their lives of service here at home, even if their time in uniform has been cut short. We tell them, thank you for the heroic sacrifices you have already made, but you're not done yet. Because there are two kinds of heroism. There's the kind we hear about most often, the kind that compels a soldier to carry a fallen comrade to safety. That kind of heroism can keep a nation safe, but it cannot make us great. America's greatness depends on the quiet, persistent heroism of those who return from war, especially those who return with injuries, seen and unseen, and choose to continue carrying their brothers and sisters. In a moment, you'll meet one of our Mission Continues fellows who returned from war scarred, but chose to accept the challenge of serving others. Men like Mike Pereira are American treasures. But for everyone like him, there are 10 others that have not yet found their opportunity to serve again. We can change that, because we, those of us here in this room, know that celebrating veterans isn't just about honoring what they have done already, but recognizing everything they have left to give. Mike?
Thank you, Ken. Good afternoon. Thank you. My name is Mike Pereira, as Ken said, and I served in the U.S. Army. I deployed to Iraq and Afghanistan. It's an honor to be here today. Thank you for having me. Thank you. As a soldier, I faced many challenges. I faced the challenge of leaving home for the first time, of training, and the challenges associated with a deployment. But the hardest challenge was coming back home. Within 3 months of returning home from the desert, I had lost my job, my fiance, and a close friend and fellow veteran had taken his own life. At my lowest, I remembered some very kind words from an officer that I served with in Iraq. That officer was Eric Greitens. He's now the CEO and co-founder of the Mission Continues. I reconnected with Eric, and he introduced me to the concepts of the Mission Continues. He challenged me to become a Mission Continues fellow. Through the fellowship, I was able to again lead, to organize, and to find others like myself in my community. Today, I serve as the National Director for the Fellowship Program at the Mission Continues. Thank you. Four days ago, during our annual Veterans Day celebration in St. Louis, I stood before a dozen fellow veterans from all over the United States who had completed their fellowships and who are now serving as citizen leaders in their communities. I am here to represent those veterans. I am here to represent the soldiers coming home. Many of us cannot continue our service in the military, but we have a strong desire and a passion to serve here at home in our local communities. Together, through your efforts and ours, we can build a stronger nation. I would like to thank Mission Serve for supporting organizations such as the Mission Continues that challenges wounded and disabled veterans to continue their service here at home in the local communities. Let us look at veterans not just as yesterday's heroes, but as tomorrow's leaders. Thank you.
Okay, give them a round of applause, please. Thank you to both Mike and Kim for your service. It's my pleasure to introduce to you a new friend and partner at work here with MTV, Maya Ainista, CEO of Mobilize.org, and one of MTV's best-in-class partners. She will join us in sharing some exciting Mission Serve partnerships, including the one that we launched with Mobilize.org today. Maya.
Thank you, Sway, and thank you to Service Nation for this tremendous event and for their commitment not only to my generation of veterans, but to all of the men and women who serve our country. It is my pleasure and tremendous honor to announce 6 innovative Mission Serve partnerships, beginning with my own. Mobilize.org, the Gold Hirsch Foundation, and MTV, with the generous support of the McCormick Foundation, are partnering to host a town hall exploring the unique issues facing our returning millennial veterans and providing seed funding to innovative veteran-led projects that address their needs. This event will be held in the spring of next year in connection with the 7th anniversary of the Iraq War. We will build both online and offline programming around this convening and reach out to millennial veterans on our campuses and in our communities. Also, America Forward and Be the Change are joining forces to create a landscape analysis of where service opportunities and veterans programs intersect. And because Rob and Ross are not busy enough, Be the Change will also be working with SurvivorCorps to ensure a robust civilian service component of the national strategy for healthy homecoming.